Let's see. I'll give us a countdown. 3, 2, 1. What's good, everyone? This is Joshua Grady here. We are here with a good friend of mine. I'm excited about today's episode. It's Tuesday of the interview week. So for Stock Tip Tuesday, I brought someone that takes a slightly different approach, I would say, to the stock market or trading, investing, finance, or whatever you want to call it. One of my good friends, super strong man, Chase GARSEE. Chase, welcome.
Hey.
Welcome to the podcast, bro. Chase, first question off the top. For someone that has never met you, who are you? In a short, if you had a quick elevator pitch to tell someone this is who Chase GARSEE is, who are you?
Hey, thanks, Grady. Thanks for having me on. I'm super excited to be here and kind of share my knowledge a little bit.
Let's go.
Who am I? I am I don't know. I'm a super passionate person, and whatever I do it with passion. I love my family passionately. I love my friends passionately. I love my career passionately. And I love to share what I know, and hopefully I'm able to do that a little bit today.
Love it. Love it. So we met, I think, via the hills, but really the gym, and started kind of working out for a little period of time. And Chase is, I guess you can kind of paint more of your background better than me, and we won't dive too far into that, but comes from a CrossFit style background. Well, even before then, born in Thailand.
Born in the States, but I grew up in Thailand. Yeah, I lived there for about 12 years.
Okay, grew up in Thailand, came back to Texas?
Moved from Thailand, kind of bounced around different places, Mexico, California, Texas, and then landed here in Nashville, I guess spring of 2013, to go to college for audio engineering and stuff like that.
Growing up in Thailand, what was that experience like? Like, from someone, I think of Thailand, like, full transparency, I think of Thailand and I think of like trees, a lot of, vegetation, I would say. A lot of green is really just what I think of.
Yeah.
What is it like in Thailand?
Yeah, so Thailand is very green. It's a tropical paradise for sure. It's a peninsula. We lived on the bottom quadrant of the peninsula. It was about 30 minutes from the beach. I personally wouldn't change anything about my childhood and how I grew up. And growing up in Thailand, amazing experiences. The people there are probably, from what I've seen, some of the nicest people in the world, as far as just welcoming you for who you are and not throwing shade, I suppose, on who you are, who you claim to be, or whatever. Growing up in Thailand was, I think, challenging because it is a third world. Back then, it was a third world country for sure. Technically, I think it's considered second world, just because they don't have clean running water. Everything has to be like ultra filtered. But yeah, growing up in Thailand's amazing. Loved it.
Do you miss Thailand? Like,
definitely. Yeah. My, I think long-term goals, is to have a home here, like a home base here, in the States, and then have some sort of small condo over in Thailand to spend, 3 to 6 months out of the year, over there, kind of chilling, working from there and stuff like that. I love Thailand. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. So you came to the States, and then what? Like, how old were you when I know you said you bounced around a little bit. So take me through, let's say, college time, 18 to 22 age range. Like, what did you go to school? Like, what was your path, I guess?
Yeah. 18, I moved several different places. I kind of like went to school somewhere and then went back to Thailand, went to school somewhere else. So first place I went was California, and I went up to Redding area. Absolutely beautiful area. It's like Northern California. Went to Bethel School of Ministry up there. It's like a Bible college. My dad wanted us to spend a year of a gap year, basically after high school, to go to like a Bible college and kind of get grounded, get rooted there. So I did that for about 6 months, and then back to Thailand. And then around 19, I went to Kansas City, Missouri, and went to another Bible college there. Went there for about 6 months, back to Thailand. And then right around 20, I guess I was 20, came to Nashville, got rooted here, went to audio engineering school, kind of finished that program, and then started my professional career from there.
So what, for someone like, I've never thought of a Bible college. Like, I know I've heard of, we try to keep it real here, like Francis Chan, for instance. Francis Chan speaks on his experience. I want to say it's Bible college. I think it's seminary. I want to say is what he stated, but he has some negative things kind of, and it would influence him in a negative manner. For you going through something, that's just, I guess, kind of the perspective I have, because I've never gone through. But someone going through Bible college, like, what is that like? Like, what is Bible college?
Yeah, a lot of it is, especially the two I went to were totally different, I suppose. The one in Kansas City was very, very doctrine based. So going to Bible college is basically teaching you a lot of doctrine. I'm very thankful for my experiences. And I would do it again, just because I wouldn't change my past. I think it's made me who I am today. But yeah, I don't know. For me, doctrinally, it didn't really do too much. I'm not a super religion, doctrine oriented, faith-based person. I believe in loving God and loving people and keeping it simple. So I guess from these different Bible colleges, you get out of it what you put into it, I guess. And it wasn't my cup of tea per se. I'm not a very doctrine oriented person.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned you got into, the last thing you said, something about engineering, audio engineering. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, audio engineering.
What is audio engineering? What exactly is audio engineering? Is that like making beats?
Not specifically creating the beats, but more working with someone who has done that and putting it on a record. So all the sound engineering behind the scenes, all the big faders and the big consoles, you turn all the squeaky knobs and make it kind of sound good. So you take someone else's sound and make it sound better, basically, and put it on a record.
Okay.
My goal with that when going into school was to become a touring audio engineer for some band, which changed drastically when I met my wife as far as life goals.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. So is that I would assume, so you were pursuing that until you met your wife, or was that like the next benchmark for you, was meeting Sydney?
No, I didn't come to Nashville to meet anyone really. I just came to school, kind of keep my head down and work hard. But unbeknownst to me, I got a job with Sydney, my wife, and we just hit it off, and plans changed. My original plan was to go to college here in Nashville, finish that up, and then there was a secondary program after this one that I went to. It was for my master's degree in audio engineering, and that was actually in Australia. And so Sid and I met, and I was near the end of my schoolwork for just a bachelor's degree, and we had conversations before about my plan and what I was thinking about doing. And part of that plan obviously was moving to Australia and finishing my degree. And her and her dad, mostly her dad, they were not cool with it. So her dad, very traditional, liked to think of what we were doing in our relationship as courting, which is getting to know someone with the intent to getting married.
Mm-hmm.
And so that, I guess that verb didn't play well with my plans to move overseas in a way. So basically left me with an ultimatum of, hey, you can either date my daughter or court my daughter, or you can go to Australia, but you can't do both. And so we actually broke up. I was like, well, this is my dream. This is what I'm trying to do. And we actually broke up for about 2 or 3 weeks. And I realized that I wanted her more than a career. So went back to her dad and told him, like, hey, change of plans. I want to be with your daughter instead. The rest is history, I suppose.
I didn't know any of that.
Yep.
Dang, that's pretty cool. So for those that don't know, so Chase and Sydney are good friends of ours. They have 2 little ones, Arrow and Mari. How old is Arrow?
Arrow's 4.
4?
Mari is about 10 months.
Okay. And so how long have you and Sydney been married?
We've been married for a little over 6 years now.
Really? Dang, yeah. I didn't realize that. Yeah. Okay. So
we started young.
Yeah. So again, for those that are listening, good friends of ours are here in Nashville. Actually the first, so I think y'all know this, Chase and Sydney were the first people that my wife Lydia agreed to let watch Roman and allow us to go on our first date without Roman since Roman was born. So definitely good people. So meeting Sydney, and you decided to stay in Nashville, or so you didn't. I'm assuming you didn't go to Australia, right?
Negative.
Okay, you didn't go to Australia. You stayed in Nashville, and then what? Like, what was next? Because obviously, now eventually we're going to get to like you being something you do with trading. Because I'll be seeing, and I think you had a good day today. I think you said I'll be following you on Twitter. So eventually, we will get to that. How did you get? Like, what was the next step from there for meeting Sydney? And that was at a coffee shop, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we met at Starbucks at Opera Mills in Nashville. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So what's next?
Yeah. So we got married in July of 2014. We felt really complacent with what we were doing at the time. Just kind of like working. I was working at a church as an audio engineer. It's kind of the route I chose to go after not doing travel sound engineering for a band or something. So I worked at a church here in Nashville, but October rolled around. So just like 3 or 4 months after we got married. And there was this conference in Waco, Texas that we went to, and basically just called us to live for something and someone more than ourselves, I guess. And so we loved that conference. Like I said, it was in Waco. A month after that, November 2020, we uprooted, moved out to Waco, got plugged in to the community there and started serving, and started a new career there as well. I guess not a new career, but just a continuation. I got a job working at another church as the technical director, which is kind of the same thing I was doing with audio, but just more responsibilities. Had like lighting and visual aspects to my job as well. But we were in Waco for about 4 years and doing that kind of gig there.
What was your experience like working? Because you were like in the church, like you were working like in it. What was your experience like working hands-on with the church?
Yeah, definitely learned a lot. Just about, well, a lot of things, but just how to, I guess, interact with the job force and just people there. It wasn't, I don't know how to say this kindly, I guess, but it wasn't, it's really hard to work in a church and not see all the nitty gritty behind the scenes and just kind kind of like not let it affect you. But I tried my hardest, and I worked there for 4 years, and it was a great experience. Worked with a lot of good people. Had the opportunity to be very patient, and yeah, it's hard to talk about this subject, but it was a really good experience.
Understood. Yeah.
Was able to be really patient. The Lord taught me a lot of things through that for sure.
That's something that, I mean, that I think I've talked about this on here. You know, it's anytime you work with people, wow, that's in the church, in a business, in a company, you know, you're always going to see things just because people are people, man. And it can be easy to see, like I said, see things just like, I don't like that. You know, that's just the reality of it. But with that being said, I think everyone should serve. I speak on that highly as well. But in Waco, was that where you got into CrossFit? When did that start playing a part? I see you got on the Rogue hat. Like, when did that journey kind of matriculate for you? Because I know you and your wife, I believe, had some sort of background within CrossFit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we both started CrossFit. I started a little earlier than her, but we both started CrossFit when we were in Waco about a year in. Just wanted to try something new. Before that, kind of just was a Globo gym goer, just go to the gym and do some bro session stuff. But kind of wanted a little bit more and to test my physical ability and got into CrossFit about I think it was 2015-ish, 2016, around there.
Okay. And you were like, I want to say there was something, I don't know the term, it was like super regional or regional something that you had like achieved to a certain level. Like, what was that description exactly?
Yeah. So CrossFit Games, even currently, they have different levels of fitness, I suppose. But they have the entry level, which is their test, which is the CrossFit Open, which is something that everyone can do. The next level would be regionals, which at the time, it's different now, but at the time it was the top 30 individuals in your region. I was in the southern region. It consisted of several different states. I think it included South America as well at the time. And then if you were in the top 30, then you went to the CrossFit Games, which is the highest level of the CrossFit arena, I guess. And you would be considered among the top, like the fittest in the world. Me personally, I never made it out of the Open. I was 50th in the Southern region. That was like my highest point of achievement, I guess, was 50th in the Southern region.
What is it about CrossFit and, you know, I've never done CrossFit. So like, what is it about just the competition itself or just the sport itself? I would say would be a better term. What is it about the sport of CrossFit that is so intriguing to people? Because as someone that's never done CrossFit, you know, I've done maybe certain lifts, but I've never really been in that space. What is it about it that is so interesting and so, you know, like, I guess, what was intriguing about it for you?
Yeah, for me, it was seeing these guys that were well-rounded as, you know, your quote unquote athlete. They weren't the best at anything per se, but they could do everything really, really well. Take, for instance, your Olympic lifts versus your endurance workouts. So Olympic lifts being the clean and jerk or the snatch. And then your endurance stuff, just take one, for example, just like a 1 mile run or something, or a 5-mile 5K run or something like that. It was intriguing and enticing to me to be able to, you know, clean and jerk or snatch, clean and jerk per se, 315 pounds, which is a decent amount of weight, even for top level or mid-level athletes, I guess, not top level athletes. And then at the same time, being able to run a sub 6-minute mile. The people in their own respective sport of Olympic weightlifting probably wouldn't be able to run a sub 6-minute mile consistently. And then conversely, people that run sub 6 minute miles as their sport, they're just a runner, they probably wouldn't be able to lift 315-pound clean and jerk or a 275 snatch or something like that. So the enticing thing for me personally was the ability to do both of those, and be a well-rounded quote unquote athlete.
What is it like when you go to a competition or an event or whatever, a workout or whatever it might be, and you go in like with a goal? Like, I'm assuming, like, you know, as you've trained, you have goals. We all have goals mentally. It's like, this is what I want to get. What is it like? Like 315 snap, like jerk, that's over your head, ain't it? Like, ain't it something that's over your head? Like, what is it like when you go in, like, man, I want to hit 315 on this jerk, right? Or this, you know, lift right here, and you get it. Like, what is that moment like for you?
It's the ultimate adrenaline rush for sure. There's lots of bar slamming, lots of chest pounding. Definitely a sense of accomplishment, especially when that's the goal you had in mind and you crush that goal, just like anything. You know, if you have a goal to run, you know, a 7-minute mile or 8-minute mile or whatever, and you do it, no matter who you are, you have this innate sense of accomplishment afterwards. But in the CrossFit scene, if you're in a competition and there's people watching and you go into this wanting to do something for yourself and people see you achieve it, it's just like, I don't know, this great sense of accomplishment.
That's what's up.
Personally, at least.
Yeah. Are you still, like, do you still follow CrossFit and what's going on in that space? Like, where are you now kind of in your workout routine and whatnot? Just curious.
Yeah. Kind of phased out of the CrossFit scene and like following it and following the different competitors and stuff. I still do CrossFit movements. Sometimes I still do CrossFit style workouts. I still try and be, the CrossFit's mantra is functional fitness. So I still do what they would consider, some of the movements at least, what they would consider functional. I think some of their functional movements are party tricks, and I can do them, but it's just like, I don't know if this is actually functional fitness, like handstand walks. It's like, okay, I can do them, but it is not like, when would you need to functionally do this as an athlete? Like, you really wouldn't need to walk on your hands ever.
Can you handstand walk? I can't do that.
Yeah, I can. That
You can
that
do
was
that?
one of the, yeah. That was kind of one of the requirements to be a performing athlete in CrossFit.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I said, it's a cool trick. It's a
Yeah.
nice party trick, but I just don't know if it's classified as fitness.
I got you. Understood. Okay. So from there, when did you start, I guess, on your path to whatever it is you're doing with day trading and stock trading? Like, when did that come into play for you?
Mm-hmm. We moved to Waco 2014, October, November-ish, 2014. And I probably got into, I can't remember the exact month, but I got into day trading and stocks and investing summer of 2015, around that era. I don't really remember the reason why I got into it. I've always loved the idea of having my money kind of work for me and compounding on my own investments and on my own cash on hand and stuff. And so day trading was kind of enticing to me. If I'm being honest, it was probably, my eyes were probably dollar signs at the time. I was doing a lot of Googling, trying to figure out what is this thing? Because before that, I had never looked at the stock market before, and didn't know what a ticker symbol was, didn't know what a candlestick was. But I did a lot of Googling and saw these guys making $1, $2, $10, $20,000 a trade. And I was like, wait a second, bro, like, what is this? I want in. And so I got into it. Like I said, probably with dollar signs in my eyes, and
like most of us,
I guess.
yeah.
I won't say that it was greed, but it was definitely something that I wanted to pursue,
Right.
in that I wanted to make my money, make more money for me, kind
Yeah.
of thing.
I don't think anything's wrong with that. For me, that's probably similar. I think this was maybe in 2017. I definitely like just was like, man, I just like you said, I wanted to do something more. Like it's when you see people doing it, it's like, man, it's a reality. Now I didn't need to be rich. I've done some stuff in greed before for sure. But I think, and that's why I try to, put together these conversations and have this podcast is to show people, like, for you're someone like I would assume, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but when you were in Thailand, I don't think that you were ever like, man, one day I want to be a day trader. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that's what you
No.
were, the thoughts you were having. So really the main point of these discussions is so people can understand, like, hey, it don't matter if you've never heard of day trading or investing or whatever it might be, like, you can learn. For you, Chase, how did you like start kind of learning? Like, what tools were you equipping yourself with to kind of, I guess, gain knowledge within this field?
Yeah. Back in 2015, I think day trading was becoming a lot more popular. And there were several, they call themselves gurus. There were several big names out there that had been successful and had a measure of success, I suppose you could say. And they kind of put that out there in marketing, and they made these courses and chat rooms and different websites you can go to and see past trades. You can kind of track along with their trades. And so I found a guy that I deemed credible through some research. Lots of people have different opinions on who is credible and who is not. And yeah, lots of different opinions. There's a lot of scammers out there, but do your own research and figure out who those guys are. And figure out who the guys that are real and are really making money are. But for me, I found several different people that I chose to follow. One of the subscription based things, I guess, one of the people, his Twitter name and website is called Investors Live. And then the other guy would be Tim Sykes. And that's how I kind of got jump started on my journey of accelerated learning, because like I said before, I knew nothing about stocks at all. And so I knew I needed something to kind of get me a boost on what it really meant to be a day trader. And those two names were definitely influential in my journey towards becoming a profitable day trader today, for sure. They offered like nightly watch lists, to where the next morning you wake up and it's like you have this list of hot stocks that they thought might do something, and they kind of tell you a detailed analysis on what they thought might happen. But more than that, they kind of taught you different setups that works for them. Dip buying panics or shorting first red day. There's a bunch of different strategies out there that you can do to be profitable. And those two kind of got me in the realm of trying to understand what it meant to have a setup and what it meant to follow those setups really closely.
What, for those that have never traded before, that, for a lot of people right now that I get that message me or whatnot, it's like they're relatively new. They're brand new to trading, to the stock market, everything. When you talk about the setup, like a setup I would say, even you can call it a plan, you can call it a strategy, whatever it might be for you, like trading, whatever it can be. What is it about like actually coming in with a plan and an approach, and intentional approach for you? Why do you think that is so important?
Yeah, I think a trading plan or a setup, or something that you think is going to happen, and going into it, having an idea of what's going to happen is super important, because otherwise you're just gambling. A lot of
Which
people
I've
would
done
say,
plenty.
yeah, I think everyone has. Anyone who has a brokerage account and watches their trading platform has gambled at least 500 times.
Yes. Facts.
Facts. Yeah. So having a trading plan or a setup kind of narrows down your focus to a specific thing that you've seen happen before and that you want to happen again. And the odds of that happening are greater than 50%.
Say that one more time.
So,
Say that one more time.
Yeah. So having a trading plan
Right.
or a setup is identifying something that has happened before that have a greater odds of happening again that are more than 50%, because the definition of gambling is a 50-50 chance. So if it's like, if you're flipping a coin, it's a 50-50 chance. Technically, I think one side's heavier and people argue about this, but whatever. It's a 50-50 chance. You're going to flip it and you're going to nail on heads or tails. And that's a gamble, because you say, all right, $20 on heads, and you do it again and again and again, you're gambling. But if you had not inside information, if you had a history of something else, coin flip is not applicable because it's literally two-sided. But if you had information on whether something was going to happen 3 times out of 4 times, that would be a 75 to 25% odds. That wouldn't be technically considered gambling, because you have higher odds of that thing working out for you. So you're making a prediction rather than a guess.
That's interesting. That is something. I like that, because I think that a lot of people approach, like someone has said, we were talking about something with stocks, and they were saying how investing in stocks is gambling. And I'm like, that's not really true, because if you come in with an approach and you look at factors and variables and you study and you know, like one thing, like on your Twitter, for example, you know, and I see your trading, how you have like your daily, your logs, you know, and your percentages and whatnot. It's like, okay, even it seems to be like you're coming in with, okay, this is my entry point, I have an exit point, you know, a clear plan of approach. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I would assume that that's, you know, played some benefit for you, at least from what I've been. I mean, it seems like you've been doing solid, you know, so that's a kudos to you. For you, I would say, like, now where you are, like, what would you say where are you right now in your trading career? Would you say, like, how confident are you? What's next? Like, any insight, I guess, to like where you are in your vision with your trading career?
Yeah, I think as far as my trading career goes, the past few months have been an indication of all the hard work and study time and bleeding my eyes over charts and charts and charts and patterns and indicators. For me, it's been the most profitable 3 months of my 5 years of doing this.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. It's definitely been a long time coming, and it feels good to have, I guess, the monetary paybacks, I guess, to that, all those time and effort and frustrations, losing money, winning money, and it's a good feeling for sure. But more so than just the dollar signs and the account increase, it's more of a hope for a future of doing this long term and never having to worry about another career, never having to worry about getting let go for another job, because I sustain my family and myself in this skill that I've learned that will be a lifelong skill that I can kind of take and even maybe pass on to my kiddos if they want to learn it. So it's more than just money for me. I guess it's a lifestyle and just a knowledge base that I love having.
That's what's up, bro. If there was one step someone could take to try to learn how to trade, or just to kind of gain some sort of knowledge in some sort of capacity in regards to anything that you have gained tangibly, what would be that one step you would recommend them to take?
Number one thing, in my opinion, to get versed with what the stock market does on a day in and day out basis is screen time, for sure. You have to stare at the screen for hours. There's no way around it. You can't learn a skill from watching someone else watch the screen. You can watch these videos and these different courses and tutorials, and they'll definitely get you up to speed. But nothing replaces your own screen time and watching it in real time, watching the movement, seeing what it's doing. And I think it's something that a lot of people don't like to hear, because it's like, oh, I want to make money now, dude. It's like, I want to get in and I want to place a trade. I want to make $500. I want to make $1,000 or $1,000. I want to do it. But it's like, you got to put in your time. You got to watch it. You have to know for yourself and why it's going to do what it's going to do, because you've seen it before, not because you've seen someone else see it.
That's good. That's good insight, because that's exactly how I was when I first started trading. When I first started, I do more investing now, but when I first started, I just wanted to put in money. I said, this stock needs to go up. And every time, down, 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 just boom, 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 boom. So, and even with being, I guess that would be another question that I have for you is, have you in the past been greedy, and how do you not be greedy when your work, like it's about money, like trading, investing, like that's what it's about. It's about making money. Like that's just, there's no way around it. Is it hard? I guess, is it tough for you to not be greedy in this space? Because if you're greedy, it's gonna go quick, and that's just the reality. I've been there. Like, how is that mentally for you? I would just question or ask.
Yeah. Whenever you're playing with money, whenever you're dealing with money, and especially in this sort of sense where it's immediate gratification or dissatisfaction, I guess you could say, if it goes down. Greed is something you will have to deal with. It's not something, I don't think, even if you're not a particularly greedy person, I think the minute, because I'm not particularly a greedy person in general. That's just not who I am. But I think the minute you get into the market and you see the potential and you see green or you see red, you have the potential to be greedy for sure. And it's something that you'll have to deal with. And it's something that I dealt with, and still sometimes, even currently, deal with wanting to be greedy about something. Yeah.
Solid. Just a few more questions. Something that I would be remiss without bringing up is, for you in Sydney, you two definitely have played a role for Lyd and I in Raise Enrollment. We see you two with Arrow, and then now with Mari, and we're like, man, especially Arrow, who's now 4. Like, she's at that age where you can start seeing if the parenting has been fruitful or not. Like, you can really tell with children, as they get to that age where they start making decisions on their own, where you can say something and they can say, I'm not listening to you, And so I would just, we don't have to get too far into anything in particular, but if there was one tip that you would give to a parent or a soon-to-be parent right now, a variety of my friends are having children or about to have children or just had a child, whatever it could be. If there was just one tip that you could give in regards to parenthood, what would it be?
Understanding that your child is your most precious gem, I think, and treating them that way. If I was going to say one word that would help, that has helped myself and Sydney parent Arrow the way we think that she should be parented, and Mari as well, obviously, is intentionality. Just being very intentional with every moment, in the good moments and the bad moments. Even more so, raising 2 daughters, being intentional in the good moments is sometimes even harder than being intentional in the bad ones, because they need, as far as my daughters are concerned, they need my praise, they need my admiration, and being intentional when they do something right, to go and praise them, to go and be like, you're amazing, you're beautiful, you're, XYZ, whatever it is that they just did. And then also in addition, in the things that they do poorly, taking time to realize they are more important than your time. They're going to be the culmination of the 20 years, 18 to 20 years of who you choose to be. I think for us, it's really easy to get caught up in our own time. There's only 24 hours in the day, and our kids acting up, and we don't want to spend 3 minutes away from our work or our computer or our phone or our gym or whatever. But it's really important to realize the 18 to 20 years that you have with them are going to shape who they are forever, and your time is not important than theirs, more important than theirs.
Solid. I like that. Your time is not more important than theirs. That's a good reminder. Sydney, what is one thing about Sydney that tells you, continues to tell you she is it long run? Why Sydney? What is it about her in particular as a wife?
She loves, not that she is insecure in who she is at all, because she's very secure, but she loves very deeply, and she loves anyone and everyone else more than she loves herself. And this kind of goes along with the previous topic of loving your children more than yourself. She loves me more than she loves herself. She loves you more than she loves herself. Her goal is to make you feel valued, and to make yeah, I'm sorry crying. she's a gem. She's very
awesome.
Selfless.
Yeah, Sydney's awesome, man. She's a great friend to Lynn. Okay, last few questions for you is, one, where can people connect with you? Where on social media can people follow you? If anybody wants to be updated with your trading, where can people connect with you?
Yeah, all my socials are Chase GARSEE, Twitter and Instagram, really. Love to chat, let you know what I'm doing, specifically. What I do is a little bit different than what a lot of the current day traders, or I guess the ones that I, learned from, are doing. I don't do penny stocks. I've always lost money in penny stocks and like lower price stocks. I do blue chip only.
Same.
It's the worst. I haven't found something that works for me. And I think that would be another, I guess, rule, and something for you to learn is learn what works for you. What works for me may not work for you. What works for Joe Schmo may not work for you. You got to find something that works for you, and that comes with what I said before, lots of screen time.
Solid. That's good. Okay. Definitely check out Chase, especially on Twitter, man. I like following the progress. I like, especially the emphasis about how you sometimes put the calendar, and I look at the percentages. And that's what I think for people really need to understand. It's like some days it's 5% up, 1% down. Next day, 6% up. Next day, down 3%. But overall, after a month, what you had just had like 30-some% over the month, I want to say. Like,
yeah,
that's solid, slow gains, man. But that's solid, bro. So, question for you. 2 more questions for you.
Yeah.
If you're at the end of the line, you're given a microphone, the rest of the world is waiting. You can give the world one message, okay? What is your one message from Chase GARSEE to the rest of the world?
That's a tough question.
Anytime the person pauses, that's when you know it's a good question.
That's a very good question. I think it goes along with a lot of what I've been saying already, with one big additive. but it's for me personally in my faith journey, it's to love God more than anything else and to do everything unto him and for his glory. But also to be like Sid and love your neighbor more than you love yourself. I think if the world did that more often and more consistently, we would have much less disarray like we're currently seeing in our country right now. And I think the world would be a better place for sure if we just learn to love one another despite our differences.
So true. So true. So simple. So simple. Yeah, we make it so hard, man. We make it so complicated, but it's so true.
And I'm guilty too, man. I'm guilty of being selfish, you know,
Same.
and loving me more.
Same.
But
who isn't? But it's people, man. People being people, bro. That's one thing about
people
it.
people being people.
People being people. That's all. But you gotta love them. Chase, last question for you. So you are someone that you've had. And part of we got pups. We talk about income on here. Stock Tip Tuesdays. We are dog sitting, so we get paid $30 a day whenever we have this dog come. Okay. So this dog's name is Olive. She's been over here a handful of times now. We just put them outside. She hangs out with Chance. They get tired. Additional stream of income for anybody looking out. Dog walking, wag, rover, all of the things. Chase, someone you've had 3 for 10 over your head. You're married to, amazing daughters, amazing wife. You are on a path where it seems like you're gaining a lot more comfortability and confidence in your trading ability and just your approach in regards to that manner. And it just kind of seems like, you're figuring some things out, I would say. Mm-hmm. Have some good things going in your life. What is one thing that you're most grateful for right now?
What I'm most grateful for, everything rolls back around to, I think, my family and especially Sid. I wouldn't be Sid and previous experiences for sure. But I wouldn't be the trader I am today. I wouldn't be the father I am. I wouldn't be even the software engineer, something we didn't really touch on. That's what I do, like for a day job. I wouldn't be successful in CrossFit if I didn't have Sid by my side and someone to love and support me through the ups and downs. So I'm very exceedingly grateful for my wife. And I think that's important, that not specifically a significant other, but have someone who is your champion, have someone who believes in you above all else, in the ups and the downs and the failures and the successes. To be successful at anything, I think you need a champion to be by your side and behind you, pushing you, and in front of you when you're crying, and just like kind of, leading you on, and beside you when you're getting tired and don't think you can do it.
Love it. Everyone needs a champion. So true, man.
Yep.
That's real, bro. Yeah, that's what's up, brother. Well, that's all I got, man. Yeah, for Chase.
I appreciate you having me on, bro. It's super fun. It's fun talking about this kind of stuff. It really missed me thinking about like future stuff, and I appreciate that it wasn't all about investing in stuff, and it gets my mind thinking. I appreciate it.
Hey, that's what we're here for, man. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, Chase, I appreciate you being on here. Definitely looking forward to continuing, be a part of the journey. For anyone listening, this is Chase GARSEE. Definitely connect with him on the socials. We are here. If you're on the Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, whatever it might be, this is Agent Talk, Stock Tip Tuesday. This is an interview week, and show us some love. Anything else y'all got, feel free to hit us up. Joshua Grady here, and we're out.
Peace.